Hey guys, this is DRAGONSTAR here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to trade effectively. So a long time ago I'll get myself in a situation that I would look at the enemy's army and mine and I would compare it, and I have no idea if I'm going to get a good trade or a bad trade. So because of all of this, I've created a concept which I call 4 elements to trade effectively, which I use every single time I play. In this concept, we consider 4 things in our army and enemy army, which is quantity first, second is your micro, third is your position, and fourth is your composition. The goal of looking at these specific areas is to look for advantages and disadvantages to see if you should engage your enemy or not. I'll show you a couple of examples to give you a better idea. Here in this example, you can see that the red player has more army than the blue player, but the blue player has an advantage in composition. The choke point is a terrible position for the red player to engage into. So even though red player might have more quantity, that does not necessarily mean he's gonna beat the enemy. Usually composition beats quantity. If instead the red player decided to take the fight in a more open area, he would have traded much more effectively because the units will naturally make a concave, reducing the damage per second. Here is another example that the red player has an advantage in quantity and the blue player has an advantage in composition. At this moment, blue player decides to attack move to the main army and loses everything. This is more common at low elo. But if he would have just clicked the mangonels, that would have been the much better trick. Here is an example of Halb plus Arbalest versus Paladin plus Onager. Quantity wise, blue player has an advantage, while red player has an advantage in the composition. Let's see how this fight works out. As you saw, if we don't take care of the onagers in the backline, they get too much value versus the Arbalest, leading to a terrible trade. If we instead microed down the onagers, we would be effectively nullifying all the splash damage coming from them. Now this is an example where composition can substitute micro. We have both players with even quantity but slightly different army composition. Red player has more HCA in his army, meanwhile blue player has more halbs in his army. Even though HCA counter halbs, it's not that easy to judge. Let's see the outcome of this fight. So versus this specific composition, if we swap the HCA for more Paladin, it would have made the huge difference. So to wrap this up, remember that this technique is all about looking for the 4 elements and identifying beforehand you engage if you should take the fight or you should not take the fight. Also, I have an exercise for you guys. For every game you lose, try to figure out why you lost by watching the replay and identifying these specific areas. Was it an area of composition, micro, maybe the position, but that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so start applying these techniques that I showed and let me know how it goes.